Hi, Preeti. How's it going?
It's going great, not that bad as it felt initially.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's
Oh,
actually quite amazing how human mind can adapt to new situations and new way of living. I'm sure we all have figured out something or the other just to survive and do not only to survive but to do very well in this situation. I'm sure like we also have like we all have some ups and downs every now and then, but I think people are doing great, and
mm-hmm.
I see people around doing great things, making the most out of this lockdown situation.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. How are you making the most out of this situation? What have you been up?
um, I think uh, I'm getting a lot more time to stay at home, which
Mm-hmm.
is not very usual thing for me. So I keep traveling from here to there for classes, for my own training, for things that I am learning. So I take classes and I also go to classes to
Right.
learn new things,
Mm-hmm.
which is not happening. So I have a lot of time for myself. So I spend more time doing meditation or just chilling. I would say like I always have this chilling time to have my coffee,
Mm-hmm.
have my morning green tea,
Mm-hmm.
which I always had to rush into.
Right.
So yeah, it's a new experience for me. Like it was a rejuvenating time.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Wonderful. Um,
Yeah.
why don't you tell us how you got started with yoga? When did you start? At what age? And what inspired you to just, start?
Uh, I don't remember why I started. I started at the age of 12, and that was quite a young age to even to remember or to be able to think why you started.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that since I remember, I have the memory. I was always inclined towards Hindi cinema, and I wanted to become a dancer, or I wanted to act, to perform something, and for that, for some reason, I knew that physical exercise is important,
Mm-hmm.
and I grew up in Jamshedpur, and at that time there was not many resources that you can really go for. Um, and I'm from a conservative family, so I was not allowed to take up dance classes. I was not allowed to take up other classes. Study was the only option. And I started to learn yoga watching in a television channel. So that's how I started my journey. And later on, my father thought that, okay, yoga is not a bad thing. So he sent me to the school of Bihar to learn more about that. And that's how I started my journey. And since then, it has been my lifestyle. Um, I didn't know anything else that I could do to keep myself fit. And it started from there. Then later on, higher studies, like graduation happened. I became an engineer. I worked for Cisco Systems for a few years, and yoga was still a part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, it just clicked that I got the calling for teaching, and I took a step ahead, and one
Mm-hmm.
thing led to another here, and here I am today.
Wonderful, wonderful. Um, what do you mean? You mentioned yoga has become your lifestyle. What do you mean exactly by that?
uh, Yoga became my lifestyle, meaning initially it was just a part of my daily routine. I started practicing, and I just used to practice for half an hour, 40 minutes. And the moment I'm out of the mat, I was out of yoga, and eventually started to become my lifestyle because I started to design my whole lifestyle around it. So I started to quit things which are not going well with this. Like I limited my socializing things. I limited my going out. I limited my eating, because when you are not eating mindfully, your practice gets compromised. When you are indulging so much, your body is not really in the right state where you can make most out of your practice.
Mhm.
So I started cutting upon everything else which was coming in the way to practice. I think taking up teaching was also a um, selfish thing in this direction, because my own practice, my experience um, became tenfold when I started teaching other people. I had to become more responsible in my own practice, because that was the only thing that I wanted to share, what I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing when I'm practicing. I wanted to offer that to other people. So I became tenfold deeper into my own practice, because I had to deliver to other people what I am feeling. And yeah, and now, like everything else, I want to create content. I want to um, share more and more my experiences. So right now, I think everything is, it's just the same thing. I'm thinking, eating, sleeping, just on yoga. Or I would say yoga actually led to other kind of trainings also. I became aware that only one kind of training, when it comes to physical training, and is not enough. So I started to indulge myself in other kind of body weight training also, like a little bit of, I go to parkour classes. I'm learning calisthenics here and there. I took up wall climbing as just as a hobby or recreational thing. So it opened my mind a lot in terms of what all a physical body can do. Also, I was never I was never into sports and anything. As I told you, study was the only option in my childhood. I never got to explore the physical, what all my body could do. And taking up all these things at this age, I felt, I used to think that it's impossible. And when I went to these classes, I felt that no, it's not impossible. Your human body can still improve, uh, can do a lot. And I have a lot of gratitude for yoga to give me those abilities to, indulge into these things.
Mhm.
So not only mentally, but not only physically, mentally, emotionally, like you become, I had a foundation to indulge myself.
Mhm. Wonderful. So you're saying yoga has completely transformed your life, like
Yeah,
mentally and physically.
yeah, totally.
Wonderful. When did you decide you wanted to teach? Like,
So it's a funny story.
mhm.
I was working in Cisco Systems, and there was a layoff happening in the company.
Okay.
And um, although I was doing quite well in my career, but then I didn't want to, I was safe. I was not thrown out of the company. But still, I thought that, dude, I don't have it in me to, crack. If at all it happens to me later,
Mhm.
I don't have it in me to prepare for another interview and go through the same process of establishing yourself. Sometimes you have to go for, you get into dirty politics in corporates. I just didn't want to deal with those things. At the same time, when you are in an IT company, sometimes, like few days, I remember, although Cisco culture is it's quite rich in terms of work-life balance. Still, I remember few days in my years of career, I had to stay awake till 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. I just didn't want to do that. Like even one day in few years was a lot for me. I love my night sleep. So it was, even that was quite overwhelming for me. Yeah, if I want to stay awake for fun, it's fine, or to indulge, it's fine. But for work, I just didn't want to. I love to finish my work early in the morning by 9:30 or 10, and then have the whole day for my own practice and meditation or whatever. Yeah. So the layoff was happening, and then yeah, that clicked. And then I thought, what else do I have that I have practiced enough to take up as a career? And I then just clicked that, I have practiced yoga for quite 10 years. So probably I can just figure out how to become a yoga teacher. And then I started to look for options. I went deeper into my own practice, and then I took up few courses one after the other. And then I started to teach just as a hobby, just as a part-time career. And I started to get good response for my teaching. And it was quite satisfying. It was quite a gratifying experience to be able to teach people and get a nice feedback from them. It was way more satisfying than my corporate career. So later on, I decided to switch.
Wonderful. About the teaching thing, we see a lot of yoga practitioners, those who are practicing yoga, getting into teaching. So how do we know if they are qualified enough? Because I mean, for someone who has no clue about yoga, they just see some woman or some man just stretching in a position that you can't even imagine, and you assume that they're amazing at yoga and stuff. So how does a common person who has no clue about yoga decide if that person is suitable to coach, to train you?
I feel, if you would ask me personally, everyone is a teacher and everyone is a student.
Okay.
At one point or the other. So we learn from the master, we learn from our friends, we learn from ourselves, and we learn from beginners. Like when I teach, I'm learning a lot. When I go to my teacher, then also I'm learning. So it goes this way that I'm totally intuitive about who I want to learn from. So if you feel the connection, it's like how you are making friends.
Okay.
If you feel the connection, and if you feel that the person has some value that you want in your life, definitely go for it.
Okay. But
for that, you will have to do some trials and all.
Right.
Yeah. Because I have seen few institutions, they just distribute certificates without any credibility.
Exactly.
There are few such good institutions, they do not provide any certificate. Like whenever I go to learn from my teacher, I don't get any certificate.
Right.
I have done few certifications as well. And then I'm just, I'm behind it. It's behind me. I don't feel the credibility anymore. I just go to my teacher that I follow. And whenever I go to learn from him, there is no credibility, but I get to learn a lot. So I feel you should just go by intuition, see what the other person has to add in your life. And if you're happy, then, no judgment, just go ahead for that teacher.
Right. Just a little doubt about that, because I'm sure some of our users, listeners might have the same thing. When you mention intuition and things, is there a possibility that a bad yoga teacher can harm you in any way? Like probably like,
Yeah.
can you get injured?
Yeah, you can.
Mm-hmm.
You can. But then that's your journey.
Right.
If you have to learn from an injury, you will go through that injury.
Okay.
But like I had an elbow injury. I injured myself. Like whenever we are practicing, like you go to the road, you meet accidents, you do mistakes, you learn from it. This
Mm-hmm.
is how you learn, you grow. You will not stop going to the road just because accidents are happening,
Right.
or there are chances of you getting hurt. You will still go to the road, and that's how you would learn about your body. If you have to, and even when you are with a teacher, the final decision is with you. Even if you are learning from somebody, you have to be intuitive enough whether you want to go for that asana, whether you feel ready for it or not.
Mm-hmm.
So a teacher is just to guide you. They don't have the final power to put you in a pose.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel the teacher, of course, they matter, but at the same time, your connection with the teacher matters more. There is this saying that when you are ready, the mentor picks you, right? So you don't pick the teacher, the teacher picks you. So
Mm-hmm.
you just keep learning, and you grow, you outgrow the teacher, and you go to the better teacher.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you progress. So whenever you are ready, so if you don't really ready for a master right now, go for somebody who can add value to you right now at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
So no judgment, just if you feel connected, go for it. And if there has to some injury happening there, it is, if it is destined to be, it will be.
Mm-hmm. Regardless of who the
Don't be
teacher is.
so fearful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, if it has to happen, it will happen, and you'll outgrow, you'll learn from it.
Right. I see a
Yeah.
lot of spirituality in your words. So does yoga make you like really spiritual, or have you always been this way? Like, when you talk about connection and things like that, is it because of yoga? Like, does it happen, or?
Yeah, it is because of yoga. Yeah, of course, we all know that yoga is a spiritual journey which starts with asana. It doesn't stop at asana. So, but to house a healthy brain and healthy mind, we need a healthy body. It starts with asana by disciplining your physical body, and it takes you towards spirituality. So it is the journey, and you become, you more than what asana, what posture, you start to believe more in just practicing and not being bothered about if it's coming or it's not coming. You you feel connected to the essence of practice and not the outcome of practice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you become, at least this has happened to me. Whether it's my work, whether it's my anything, it's my decision. I always like to feel in my emotional body, like I like to imagine how it is feeling. I like to visualize things, and if it's feeling good, then I would go for it. If it's not feeling good, probably I feel that I'm not ready, I need a little more time. Or if I visualize a situation where I feel that I'm obligated to do something, I would probably not get into that. So happiness and joy are the ultimate goals. Even if you want to know, doing some physical practice, even if you get hurt, even uh, if it's hard, but it's giving you joy, it's worth enough. But if it's easy and you are not, like, when we practice yoga, you're dying, there is pain, soreness, everything, but there is this bliss and joy at the end of it. So you do it. It's like nobody's like, it's not easy. It's very difficult when you're on the mat to keep practicing, to keep yourself motivated. But when you get joy and bliss out of it, in the end, it's worth it. But if it's not, probably you're not ready.
Mhm. You the people tend to become more self-aware with yoga. Is that true? Like the things you're saying, like
Yeah,
you become really self-aware and. Mhm.
yeah. You become self-aware, like what is working for you, what do you want, um, yeah, what is good for your body, like you feel it, like I have seen like you, even my parents, they are not really physically aware, like not really, I won't say mindful, but I have seen few people not really being mindful about their own body. Like, you go somewhere, you hurt yourself, and after 2 days, or you just, picked up something, and after 2 days, you realize, oh my God, I'm having this pain, and probably it is the result of that incident. Whereas if you just constantly practice something, you would instantly feel it that, it's giving you pain. And you practice more, you will become intuitive that, oh my God, no, probably this is not for me.
Mhm.
It will hurt me. So, this is how the progress has happened to me. I have become more yeah, intuitive. Like, you meet somebody, and you do not have, um, for example, like, you feel angry and you slap somebody, and after 2 days you realize that I shouldn't have done that. But if you just keep practicing yoga, uh, the moment you're getting angry, you start to feel it. Okay, I'm getting angry. So there is this time gap where you can analyze the emotion change, and you have that calm mind to decide whether to slap the other person or not. You know, so your mind becomes more calm and it's more analytical, and so that you can always be more responsive to the situation and not react to it. Where with more progress, when even when you just get into the situation, you become more intuitive. Okay, probably I don't like the vibe of this person, I may get angry, so I should probably withdraw.
Right.
I'm not sure if you connect to that.
Yes. So I can feel it because I can relate to you because I meditate a lot. So um,
Yeah.
does I mean does this reduce the amount of decisions you take just through emotions? Like, are you still able to feel things, or does it always does it make you, like you said, analytical? Do you start analyzing each and everything, or do you still, do take decisions through emotions and things of that sort?
No, I did not understand your question.
So when you say you start making decisions more analytically,
Hmm.
do emotions still affect you as well? Like, do you also take emotional decisions and things, or is it just once you start doing this, you completely block off from the emotional quotient?
No. Being emotional is, I think it's the highest um, state of being human. Uh, we all have emotions,
Mhm.
but what emotions serve you better? That's what you have to be analytical about. Like, out of rage, I just slap a person, whether that emotion will serve me in a long run, or to be in a calm state and withdraw from there would serve me in a better way. You
Right.
have to be analytical about which emotion to pick, which thought to pick, and thought leads to emotion, emotion leads to action, action leads to habit, and habit builds your character. So you have to be analytical about which thought, which emotion to pick, and not cut yourself from emotions. Otherwise um there is this very nice word in Hindi. Your life become neeras, like there is no rasa in your life. Like without emotion, you become a robot.
Mm-hmm.
You don't be a human anymore.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So feeling emotion is the highest. Like we have many more emotions than other other creatures, because we are human. We can feel things more deeply. So I don't think you have to cut off from your emotions.
Right.
Rather, you should feel your emotions more deeply.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
What talk to us about India. How is India doing? Like, definitely, there's been a lot more awareness about yoga and mindfulness uh, because of social media. But do you think that it's going in the right track? India is becoming healthier mentally and physically. And is it that just one section of society is adopting yoga practices, or is everyone from your experience, even those who are not so, what you can say, well off, well to do, are they also adapting yoga practices in some way?
No, I feel people from every culture and every, irrespective of their status or kind of work that they are doing, I think everybody is picking up for yoga practice. I have few sports people coming in my classes. There were few other trainers who are into weightlifting and all. I saw them practicing yoga. So of course people um, are realizing the importance of practicing yoga, becoming more mindful. um, so I think it is getting better, but at the same time, there is more, like there is duality. uh, so as people are getting better, things are also, you have a lot of options to choose from. Earlier there were just handful of teachers and handful of people practicing, seeking yoga practice, so you know where to go to. Now you have a lot of options, so there is more trial and error. um, so there is this duality, but I do see that lot and lot people are practicing yoga, which is a good thing.
Hmm.
uh, but yeah, it has become definitely difficult to choose what do you want to practice
Right.
and
About
who do
that.
you want to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Tell us
who do
about,
you want to go to.
right. Tell us about your style of yoga. What style of yoga do you practice? And if you can just briefly talk a bit about some of the yoga styles and why you've also chosen your style.
um, I practice Ashtanga Vinyasa flow. Uh, Earlier, like for good 10 years, I practiced the um, traditional style of Hatha Yoga, where I just practiced 10, 12 poses every day. Uh, it gave me a good foundation. It uh, gave me a good base, where I was, you know, I became aware of my own body, what core is, arms, how to engage shoulders, and all. And then Ashtanga Vinyasa flow, because other styles of yoga were like, it was a little boring for me. So Ashtanga is very demanding physically, and I just got hooked to it, and I have been practicing Ashtanga for like on and off 5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that style, but I feel that you should totally choose what do you connect to. Like I even now I feel that sometimes the restorative yoga, like typical Iyengar or Hatha yoga, are much more fulfilling than just push yourself to finish the whole Ashtanga series. I feel it doesn't work for me. So now I'm just not following, not into only one type of training, but I would go with whatever I feel like doing. I would sometimes I would just if I practice, I have to focus on jump back, jump through. Sometimes I would use push up bars also just to work upon my bent arm strength. I would use other props. Although where if you would go to a Mysore school, they do not allow you to use any prop. You just have to practice, just a mat and you. But I am quite open to try out other things as well. Whatever helps you, you should just pick that. And why not take help from things, from people, from situation, and grow. You don't have to be really like strict. Without, I feel otherwise it would take more time. Like I was also into, I don't want to use blocks. I don't want to use push-up bars. And it took me way longer just to work upon my, like I had to be off practice because when I started to practice jump back jump through, which is a very major part of Ashtanga, and it only used to come on my forearm. So after like 6 days of practice, my forearm used to get swelled and I had to take rest. And I was very strict that, I have to follow the traditional style. But now I'm much more liberated. If my wrists are hurting, I would use push-up bar and still go and practice.
Right. Wonderful. Social media, good or bad? People learning through YouTube, and um, what is that a good thing, or do you need expert supervision all the time, especially when you're starting out?
Um, I would say there is duality here as well. I myself started to practice watching YouTube channel. McGregor was my biggest Ashtanga inspiration. Watching her YouTube videos, I started to practice. But there was a point of time when I realized that only YouTube is not helping me. I need some expert to guide me, I need to be with them physically. Otherwise क्या होता है कि बहुत सारी चीजें जो हमें सिर्फ टीचर ही बता सकता है, हमें लगता है कि हम वो कर रहे हैं क्योंकि हमें अवेयरनेस नहीं होता इतना, हमें लगता है कि हम कर रहे हैं बट हम वो नहीं कर रहे हैं. So you, of course, you need a teacher who can pull you and also can push you sometimes. So of course, I feel that YouTube or social media it is a good thing because there is like infinity of material available. You can pick one thing and start to practice. But एक टाइम ऐसा आता है जब हमें खुद पता चलता है कि okay, this is not helping me anymore. मुझे एक टीचर के पास जाना चाहिए. So but I think it's a good way to start. Like my own teacher, I connected to him I bought his online classes. So the free YouTube videos, I was done with free YouTube videos. And then there was my teacher was on Instagram. I was very inspired by him. Then मैंने सोचा कि इनके paid classes I'll pay for his classes. And it helped me a lot क्योंकि जब मैं उनसे मिली तो उनके terms, उनकी vocabulary मुझे already पता थी. So when he said कि certain things कैसे करना है, मेरे पास एक फाउंडेशन तैयार था मेरे माइंड में कि अगर वो ये कह रहे हैं तो even if I couldn't do it, at least I could understand कि वो क्या कहना चाहते हैं. So ये ऐसे स्टार्ट हुआ एंड बट ऑफ कोर्स उनके ऑनलाइन क्लासेस के बाद भी मुझे लगा कि दिस इज आल्सो नॉट वर्किंग, मुझे उनके पास जाना चाहिए. So I started to take 1 month off from my work every year, and I go to him, and you would realize that it makes a lot of difference when when you take off from everything else and you're just working on yourself. कि हमें घर की चिंता नहीं है, हमारे relatives हैं, families हैं, they are important, but at the same time हमें थोड़ा time off लेना चाहिए खुद पे काम करने के लिए, so that we become a better person for the people around us.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
do you?
Sarthak,
Yeah.
Sarthak, I think you should also try Hindi.
I don't want to. I don't want this to become like a comedy show.
No, but I think viewers gonna have fun.
Right. All right. I will chip in with some amount.
I'll correct. I studied my whole, my school was a Hindi medium. So जब मैंने ऐसे हिंदी मीडियम पिक्चर देखा, I could connect to it. और मुझे बहुत मुश्किल हुई थी when I went to BIT और वहाँ सब बड़े-बड़े लोग आते हैं. Everybody was like people were fluent in English and मुझे बहुत struggle होता था just to speak in English or just to write the whole thing in English. So it was a big struggle for me. So I don't mind correcting you. मेरी हिंदी बहुत अच्छी है.
Sure. Thanks for the confidence. तो आप क्या ज़्यादा do you do a lot of yoga retreats? Do you go for yoga retreats like you mentioned? That's once a month, once a year. Sorry.
Yeah, I go I go to learn.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I go to learn and yeah, I go एक बार साल में मैं जरूर ऑफ लेती हूँ अपने काम से. पिछले साल तक मैं सिर्फ योगा रिट्रीट में जा रही थी, बट इस साल तो आई एम नॉट श्योर कुछ हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा है. बट नेक्स्ट टाइम देयर इज ही इज माय टीचर्स handstand teacher. So, and he conducts his workshop in Thailand. So, my teacher is a big fan of handstand. And like teacher, like student, he is a big fan of handstand. So, I'm a big fan of handstand. So, अगर मुझे handstand सीखना है, so I think I'm going to go to my teacher's teacher. So, yoga retreat वो नहीं होगा, शायद वो handstand retreat होगा.
Good.
Yeah.
Goa में
but I think taking off from your work and just learning a new thing, being beginner in anything, like it can be anything, a new art or new thing. So ये आपके अंदर के स्टूडेंट को जिंदा रखता है. और आप कभी सीखना भूलते नहीं हो, otherwise we become too blunt, जिसमें धार वापस आ ही नहीं सकते हैं. So which is not a good thing, like till you are alive you have to keep learning. We stop to accept new things, but अभी एक जनरेशन के बाद दूसरे जनरेशन, one phase of life से another phase of life में हम जाते हैं, और हमें मुश्किल तभी आती है जब हम चीजों को एक्सेप्ट करना बंद कर देते हैं. Whereas जब आप कुछ नई चीज खुद से ही सीखते रहते हो ना, तो आप बहुत नई चीज आती रहती है आपकी लाइफ में जो आपको एक्सेप्ट करना पड़ता है. तो आपका जो एक्सेप्टेंस लेवल है वो बहुत बढ़ जाता है. तो इसलिए बहुत जरूरी है, अगर जैसे मैं प्रैक्टिस करती हूँ तो आई मेक श्योर टू इंक्लूड वन न्यू मूवमेंट एवरी वीक. So I look like a stupid. I have a beginner's mind. At the same time, I do practice, which is very rooting, very comfortable for me. But I include new movement. जब बच्चे मुझे देखते हैं कार्टव्हील करते हुए तो हंसते हैं, क्योंकि वो कार्डविल बहुत अच्छे से कर सकते हैं, ये बचपन में लोग सीखते हैं, मैं अभी सीख रही हूँ, बहुत फनी दिखता है, बट इट कीप्स योर ईगो लो, इट कीप्स द बिगिनर्स माइंड अलाइव. सो आई थिंक नई चीजें सीखते रहना बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
तो ये योगा का कल्चर कैसा है? Like like you have बहुत support रहता है, like because in some other industries, if they know you're a teacher, they उनको लगता है कि you'll take their students away from them because you're training under that teacher and then you're a teacher yourself. तो ऐसे क्या मतलब is there बहुत positive culture है या कैसे है in Pune in India? वो ऐसे सोच क्या, like do yoga teachers have this thought, thinking, this mentality?
Yeah. I do think that we are also human, and such negative thoughts may come, but that's where you have to learn. If somebody has to connect to you, they will not go to anybody else, and if they are going to somebody else, they are not meant for you. Like my students, the people that are coming into my life, even in form of students, they are meant to be in my life. They are there to teach me something. They are serving a purpose. I'm teaching them something, and also they are teaching me something. It's a give and take. So अगर कोई स्टूडेंट, मैं ऐसे ही सोचती हूँ कि अगर कोई स्टूडेंट मेरे पास ना आके किसी और के पास जा रहा है, तो वो मेरी लाइफ के लिए नहीं है. He or she doesn't have anything to offer that would serve me. So it's better that people who are not meant to serve me anything are not coming. Like you don't want anything unwanted in your house, right?
Right.
अगर मुझे जिस चीज की जरूरत नहीं है घर में, मैं वो कभी घर में लाऊंगी ही नहीं. अगर कोई आ भी रहा है तो वो 10 दिन के लिए आया, 15 दिन के लिए आया, 1 महीने के बाद it would start to bother you कि अरे घर में ये पड़ा हुआ है, मुझे इसका कोई काम नहीं आ रहा है, ये स्पेस ले रहा है पर इसका कोई काम नहीं है, you know, and one day you will throw it out. So आप अगर पहले से ही आप अगर थोड़ी ऐसी सोच रखें कि अरे मुझे इसकी जरूरत ही नहीं है, और ये अगर नहीं आ रहा है घर में, तो probably मुझे इसकी जरूरत नहीं है. So people who are meant to come in my life, only they are coming in my life. तो आप अपने आप में sorted रहते हो. But yeah, of course there is this feeling of competition, as we like I have seen somewhere, but I think I'm quite sorted. If I'm not getting a project, I feel that it was not meant for me, and it's good that it didn't come to me because it had no purpose in my life.
Right. So
yeah.
बहुत लोगों को योगा बहुत बोरिंग लगता है, like before they have started, like just seeing it or just doing it once. So did you feel the same way? And like you can say teenagers, unko obviously they want more sports type thing, jaise matlab football ya cricket aise kuch. So do you think that after probably a few classes people tend to adopt it and enjoy it a little more, or aise ki your mind space has to be in such a way that you're ready for yoga, aise kuch? Is there something like that?
Yeah, I think yoga is boring.
Okay.
Because it's quite demanding. Like you have to earn to be able to like yoga practice. Not everybody can, वो कहते हैं ना कि not everybody can do the hard job. Like, somebody has to do the tough job. Yoga is the tough job. Like, you have to get into that mind space जहाँ आपको self work अच्छा लगता है, हम इतना सेल्फ लव, अवेयरनेस, माइंडफुलनेस की बात करते हैं, बट इसको प्रैक्टिस करना मुश्किल है. Also to have that judgment where you are practicing this and not, going on the other side, not being on the other side of the coin, even to judge that, it is quite difficult. In the same situation, you can be on one side of the coin and thinking that you are on the other side of the coin. It is difficult. जहाँ हम बोलते हैं कि योगा को, so yeah, that's why yoga is you have to feel the magic in it. और magic in anything. जैसे आप अगर running बोलो, मुझे running पसंद नहीं आती है because I haven't felt the magic in it. Whereas there are few people जो running को ही meditative मानते हैं. Running is like meditation for them. And since yoga is like emotionally, mentally, physically so challenging, yoga can be as demanding as Ashtanga. Yoga can be as demanding in terms of patience as Hatha. So हमें उस mental space में होना पड़ता है when like it. But one of the biggest guru of yoga, he said that there is a reason why everybody comes to yoga in the end. तो आप भले कोई भी स्पोर्ट्स को खेल लो, कोई भी दूसरा कुछ प्रैक्टिस कर लो, but you will come back to yoga in the end because it is it gives you a holistic system where you are working upon all the aspects of your emotions, physical body and everything. So I don't blame, or I not blame would be a wrong word, but if somebody is not able to connect to yoga as of now, it's okay. They shouldn't push themselves because you have to earn to be able to like yoga. And once you like yoga, you cannot stay away from
it. Right. So I guess yoga.
Yeah, like a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there are few students that they just started to practice with me thinking it's trendy, and after some time they said that what do? I don't like yoga, and I said that just stop practicing. Like, what is the meaning if you're not having fun, if you're not in a good mind space? Start when you feel you are ready, and when you look forward for the next class. Otherwise, it's like there is no point.
So when you say, when you mention that, is just doing once or twice, obviously you won't get the full benefit of yoga, but just doing it once or twice, like ये आजकल बहुत apps रहते हैं जहाँ पे एक दिन योगा कर सकते हैं, एक दिन जिम वर्कआउट कर सकते हैं, एक दिन जिम कर सकते हैं. So do you think ऐसे मतलब you should choose one thing and stick to it, and then once in a while do it, or balance it out, ऐसे balance करके करना चाहिए, or what do you suggest? What is the best thing to do?
I feel balance करके करना चाहिए. Of course, you can focus on one thing. I would, in terms of like if you're talking about weight training and other form of physical exercises, so I would just stick to the physical aspect of yoga. So balance तो होना ही चाहिए. Otherwise, आपकी body की जो mobility है, functionality है, आप weight training करके आपको lame, like you will be getting lame strength. But how you are using your strength? Like you should be. Why you want a strong body? So that you can be away from disease. You can spend more quality time with your loved ones. You can play with your kids. You can take care of your parents. You are physically strong to be able to do things that you want to do in life. That is the only meaning of doing exercise. सिर्फ pump up करके, like you're, unless you are into bodybuilding profession, you are not getting anything. So being functional is most important. And उसके लिए strength plus flexibility, जिसको हम combinedly ability कहते हैं, वो सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी है. So आप एक चीज पे फोकस कर सकते हो, बट उसको बैलेंस आउट करना बहुत जरूरी है. जैसे मैंने जब पार्कोर क्लास स्टार्ट किया, तो पार्कोर इट is a lot about explosive strength. I have to do a lot of like power movement. तो जब मैंने वो स्टार्ट किया, तो मुझे पैसिव योगा और ज्यादा करना पड़ता है to balance it out. Otherwise, I started to feel stiffness in my legs. I started to feel stiffness in my hips. तो अगर आप एक चीज को, अगर आपको स्ट्रेंथ पे काम करना है, you are focusing more on weightlifting, then you have to balance it out. You have to do stretching or the passive exercises to balance it out. But yeah, like it should be like what my teacher says is, and I also believe that that should be the case when you want to improve. You should make a routine that you would follow for 4 to 6 weeks and then change it. Because सिर्फ एक तरह की physical training आपको सब कुछ नहीं दे सकता है. Like एक तरह का खाना, एक तरह का grain आपको सारे तरह का nourishment नहीं दे सकता है body में. Similarly, सिर्फ एक type की training आपको सब कुछ नहीं दे सकती है जो आपको चाहिए. So variety of training is, of course, it's good. Some body weight, some weight training. Yoga is, of course, one of the best ways to train your body. And you can always, whatever you are doing, you can always balance it out with yoga.
Wonderful. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of athletes, like when we were training, so I used to play tennis professionally, and
Yeah.
हम बहुत ये weight training and explosive training like वहाँ पे focus कर रहे थे, and right now बहुत ज़्यादा awareness आ रहा है. तो मतलब even the juniors who are coming up in other sports, they're मतलब वो yoga include कर रहे हैं, them putting in more yoga sessions throughout the week. So that's great.
Yeah.
Flexibility and basically just to strengthen your mind.
Yeah.
That's great. What age?
And actually मैंने ये भी देखा है कि इसका उल्टा भी होता है. जैसे बहुत लोग जो हमेशा से योगा में ही हैं, योगा ही प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, they not refrain, but they are reluctant to take up weight training. I have seen many people thinking that that would make them stiff, but that also has some, every science has its benefit. So you take good from all kinds of science. Like my shoulder strength got way better when I started to do weight training. Otherwise, कुछ जो arm balances वगैरह हैं yoga में, it was impossible for me to. So weight training is one of the easiest way to train yourself for strength. Like मुझे hyper mobility है मेरे elbow में. When I put my palms down on the floor, मेरा elbow ऐसे twist हो जाता है, and the weight comes on my elbow. So my elbow is always at stake until I learned to keep my elbow tweak, and I learned to engage my arm muscle. So ये सब चीज के लिए अगर आप weight training करते हो, तो आपके लिए बहुत अच्छा है. आपको समझ में आता है कि कैसे मुझे आर्म्स को रखना चाहिए, उसका अलाइनमेंट. That's very easy way to learn to or train yourself for strength. तो किसी भी ऐसे aversion नहीं रखना चाहिए. Try out everything. So जैसे योगा practitioners को weight training के लिए या दूसरे explosive training के लिए ऐसा लगता है कि no, this is not for me. Similarly, like sport people, they don't like to practice yoga. So it's both ways.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
एज सो ऑब्वियसली आजकल के बच्चे मतलब देर स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम एज ऑफ 5 6 एज वेल सो ऐसी कुछ लिमिटेशन है कि मतलब 50 साल के बाद स्टार्ट नहीं कर सकते या ज्यादा कुछ नहीं कर सकते बहुत यू आर मोर इंजरी प्रोन व्हेन यू गेट ओल्डर ऑब्वियसली सो और
Yeah.
कभी भी स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं योगा बट देयर विल बी लिमिटेशंस
Yeah, yoga kabhi bhi start kar sakte hain. In fact, she was one of my like initial one of my students that I got in the very initial phase of my career. She was 68 years old, and yeah, I taught her for 2 years, and it was amazing for me to witness that a human body can progress and in that age. Of course, there are limitations you have to respect, but limitations are in all the, irrespective of what age you are, there are physical limitations.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you pick a girl or a boy who are in their early 20s, I have seen many girls, they can't do push-ups, they lack in shoulder strength and all. So that's a physical limitation. And when you age, of course, you become more, not, I won't say you become more prone to injuries, but recovery becomes very slow. So you have to be extra cautious that, that they don't damage their body. But of course, they can progress, and कुछ movement, कुछ mobility तो उनको भी चाहिए ही. So age is not the issue. Whereas if it comes to yoga practice, मुझे लगता है कि 12 is a good age, 12, 13 is a good age where your muscles are developed and you have certain wisdom to understand the depth of yoga.
Mm-hmm.
Uske pehle, like, you are quite young to understand what it is.
Right.
Yeah. Huh.
When you spoke about your injuries, so I just noted it down. Can yoga help to cure or what can you say, repair the muscle or anything of that sort, or is it something like a prevention before a cure, or something? Is yoga the cure for many injuries, or you should always go for obviously doctor supervision, but has yoga been able to do that at some times? Like suppose there's back pain, people say you have to start doing yoga. So do you directly start doing yoga, or do you get better from that back pain and then start? What do you suggest based on your experience?
It's always like it's very individual. If you have, like, it depends on the intensity of your injury. It depends on your physical ability. Yeah, it's very individual. You cannot generalize. But whereas yoga is concerned, it is as preventive as it is curative. Like, it prevents you, you get mobility in your body, in your joints, so that you are more functional. At the same time, if you are going through, if you had injuries and you went through some rehab, then the next step would be yoga.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Or sometimes you can even bypass the rehab. Like, I had few, even my own father, he has he's suffering from minor spondylitis, but doctor said strict no to all the forward fold asanas. But if you don't do a forward fold, there are 1,000 other problems that you are going to face. Your spine needs that that movement to be able to remain healthy. So in those cases, you should go to a good yoga teacher and practice under supervision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I had a student, she had this slip disc, and for her also, I think doctor had said a strict no for any forward fold. People had some knee injury. A doctor had suggested some knee surgery, or no to sit down on the floor. I I just I just went intuitive, and I made them practice whatever I felt like they should be doing. And it just worked. It worked for them, and they didn't have to go for any surgery. They just became better. Their mobility got better. Um, so yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I think it's very individual.
Right.
Yeah.
Yoga scope क्या है, like industry में, like is there like other things you can be, how can you be part of the industry? Just you can be a teacher, are there other things that are going on in the yoga industry? Is there anything, is there anything with tech going on with yoga? Any
Sorry, I didn't get you. Anything with?
any interesting technology that is being used, or is yoga just a human thing? Are people using technology for yoga, or not necessarily for teaching yoga, but in the practice?
I think yoga industry has grown quite a lot in like past 1 decade. Like we see a lot of yoga brands coming up with new and new props, new clothing, very stylish ones as well. So I do see there is a lot of scope. At least in India, there is a lot, because I feel in terms of clothing, India can do much better. Also, like we have roots. Roots of yoga is like it's in India. So अगर यहाँ के कपड़े रहेंगे, we have like cotton का root भी इंडिया में है. So we all know that you should be practicing yoga in cotton clothes, and it feels much better actually. Whereas I feel कि इंडिया में अभी तक कोई इतना अच्छा big brand नहीं आया है जो कि which can makes you look good and stylish, yet very authentic at the same time. So I feel अभी भी lot of scope है, but अभी I think पिछले 1 दशक में बहुत बहुत कुछ चेंज आया है योगा इंडस्ट्री में. 10 साल पहले लोगों को पता भी नहीं होता था कुछ. Like there are now very expensive mats, very expensive props, and people are ready to invest in it.
Wonderful.
So scope बहुत है teaching के अलावा. I myself would love to endorse yoga brands, become a model sometime.
Yeah, you do. I've seen your Instagram. You do get a lot of endorsements.
Yeah, this is my love to face the camera. मैं शुरू से यही करना चाहती थी, and योगा के थ्रू मुझे अभी ये करने का मौका मिल रहा है. That I'm being approached for. Now I'm being approached for few lifestyle shoots, few like company who are making lifestyle products. So मैं यही करना चाहती थी mainly, but अभी ये through yoga मेरे पास आ रहा है, तो I'm loving it actually. बहुत अच्छा लगता है मुझे कैमरा को फेस करते हुए. So I'm indulging quite a lot now.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So yoga industry में I feel अभी भी बहुत scope है. जैसे अगर हम ये बात करें कि इंडिया में अभी भी इतने सारे, जैसे मुझे अभी अगर कंटेंट क्रिएट करना होता है, मुझे बहुत परेशानी होती है कि कोई ऐसा सेटअप नहीं मिलता. I don't know how do people do it, but I'm not a professional. I do know nothing about photography. And when you are a beginner, of course, you don't have so much money to invest in creating content. Whereas I feel I have things that I can share. My experience is worth sharing. Everybody's experience is worth sharing for that matter. But वो कंटेंट क्रिएशन के लिए बहुत कुछ मुझे लिमिटेड फील होता है. तो आई थिंक अभी इस लॉकडाउन के बाद स्पेशली हम सब we are depending more on technology and internet and online content. I think इस क्षेत्र में भी कुछ बढ़ोतरी होनी चाहिए कि हमारे लिए कंटेंट क्रिएशन थोड़ा सा आसान हो जाए. ऐसा कुछ तो ऐप आ जाए या ऐसा कुछ टेक्नोलॉजी आ जाए जिससे थोड़ी आसानी हमें तो अच्छा लगेगा.
Yeah. Even the captions, the detailed captions, the writing of the content writing, that's like a huge pain.
Yeah, it is.
Like keeping up with it.
And exactly. एक पोस्ट बनाने में हमें कितनी मेहनत लगती है ये सब हमें पता है. Like what to write. Sometimes I just feel like writing about what emotionally or mentally I feel when I do the poses. At the same time, sometimes you just want to be very physical and explain the physical aspects of it, the benefits and the contraindications of the asanas. So yeah, it's quite. But this is your work. I mean, work it gets monotonous. You can't do anything.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right now, COVID scenes, will virtual coaching continue, or will you be going back? I mean, will you be adopting this as one part of your offering after the lockdown gets over, or do you think it just has to be in person?
And I'm definitely adopting it.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have the luxury. I'm spoiled. So I had a lot of opportunity to work. I have many more students joining me. So even if I'm starting my studio, I will still be available on camera. So students who stay really far joined me days during lockdown because I was available online, and I think I'm gonna continue this for them. So if they cannot really come to my studio to practice with me, I'm still available on camera for them. So at least they can practice. And once in a while, I would love to have them physically, so that because I'm an Ashtanga teacher, I love to correct people physically. So it would be nice to have them. But like few of my students are from film industries. They they keep traveling. So they cannot continue like this. They could never be a regular student because they kept traveling. Now they are. They have been very regular. So I think I'm gonna continue this. And whenever I feel like I start my work at 5:30. So sometimes I feel like I don't feel like traveling. Now I have the luxury just to tell my students. And since they are also comfortable with this mode, so I have the luxury that okay, I don't want to come travel. I'm just gonna log in and let's say have the class like this. Yeah. So I'm definitely gonna continue. But at the same time, I feel physical presence has its own importance.
Right. So you should definitely try and find a good balance to it.
Yeah, you should find a good balance because मुझे अभी समझ में आया कि कभी-कभी ऐसा होता है ना कि when the teacher comes and corrects you every time, you become too much dependent on the teacher. Now that they had to correct themselves just by my words, they improved in terms of body awareness. So yeah, everything has to offer some new learning, and you should make most out of it.
Right. Wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Preeti, it has been an honor.
It has been an honor to me.
Thank you so much for sharing your experiences, your advice with all our listeners.
Thank you so much for having me, Sarthak. And I thoroughly enjoyed the talk.
Thank you. So, why don't you tell our listeners where people can find you? Tell us a bit about Guiding Light, um, where they can find you, where you offer your coaching, your yoga services.
Um, where to find me? I most of my time goes in private classes. I have one batch which I run in ounce, and all the information you can get on Instagram, guiding.light. I have my own account, Preeti, named Preeti Acharya. You can reach out to me in any of those two accounts, or you can just visit the website guidinglight.com to get all the information. Yeah.
Wonderful. We'll have them posted on the show notes as well. So anyone who's interested, they can contact you directly. Thank
That
you.
will be wonderful. Thank you so much, Sarthak.
Take care.
Take care.